Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Robin. I'm from the book Wormhole, where I mostly read and review science fiction, and I write science fiction too.
Woo. I'm Tabby, otherwise known as TM Cole, and I'm a fantasy author currently writing the Warriors of Brea series. And I'm working on book 4 currently, and on my channel I do a variety of things. I haven't done much lately, but I'm hoping to do some more content related to book writing and my own books soon.
Nice. I'm Johara. Uh, my channel is The Witchy Reader, where I mostly talk about fantasy. And I also write fantasy. I have 2 published series. I put both Robin and Tabby's and Tiffany's channels down in the comments, and I have mine and Tabby's Amazon pages if you guys, because we already have published books if you guys want to check them out.
Nice.
So, what will you guys be working on? I'm guessing Tabby will be working on Warriors of Bria.
Yep, that is the plan.
I'm planning on rewriting at least the first 2 chapters of my book. So I'm
The
gonna be doing
sci-fi
that
one,
today.
the
The
one
sci-fi one, yeah.
it's what type
It's
of
a
sci-fi is
space
it again?
opera, yeah.
Right. Okay, I always forget what it's called. Space opera. Okay,
It's
I'm gonna
kind
have to
of a
remember that.
weird term, and, like, I didn't know the term for, like, the longest time either until I started getting involved with BookTube, and then I was like, "Oh, so that's what the subgenre is called."
Yeah,
Um,
subgenres of fantasy, I know. Subgenres of sci-fi, not so much.
I still, like, hear new, like, terms and, like, new subgenres I never heard before, but then, like, when someone, like, explains it, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I get what that means," but, like, I swear, like, I'm always learning new things, even about sci-fi.
Yeah, same with me at fantasy. Um, you know, we don't know everything.
Right. Well, and that's part of the fun of it too, is
True.
learning more.
Hi,
Um,
Mom. Glad you could make it.
Brenda.
She's reading my book, the sequel to The Curse's Light.
Nice. I just read book 1 and I'll be reviewing it for June, so I'm really excited about that.
Woohoo!
I've been having, because the month isn't over yet, like an amazing reading month, and I've
That's
just been
great.
like plowing through everything, and really enjoying everything I've been reading. So I feel like my June wrap up's gonna be super long because
Mhm.
there's gonna be so many books, but it's gonna be a fun one because like it has been such a positive month. So
That's good.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm reading 3 books right now, I think. And there's a 4th one that I'm gonna start soon. Let's see if I can finish at least one book before I start it, but no promises. I'm reading Deathly Hollows, which I just started today.
Hmm.
Rule of Wolves. Finally gonna finish the last Grishaverse book, and Rise of Kyoshi.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I'm reading The Color Purple, which I'm either gonna finish tonight or tomorrow, just because I've been absolutely plowing through it. And then I've been doing audiobooks while I work now, so I've been always reading 2 books at one time, because I'll just listen while I work. I'm listening to A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine, which has been a very popular sci-fi book on BookTube. I feel like a lot of people really like it, so I'm like, okay, time to finally give this a try.
Nice.
So I'm 32% into it, and it's cool. I wonder if I should be reading it instead of listening to it because I feel like I'm not getting everything while
Mhm.
listening to it. I think it's just like a little more denser, and also like the person actually reading it, like she's fine, but like she doesn't differentiate voices as well as I need her to, so I don't always understand what character's talking, you know? And because I'm not like reading it and can't like see like the paragraph breaks, like I don't always realize, okay, like person A has finished talking and person B is now talking, you know? Because it'll, you know,
Yeah.
just like the way things are written. So I've been having like a hard time with that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'll see how it goes. I'll like see
Yeah.
probably by tomorrow if I'm like, okay, like I gotta just try to read this instead of listen to it, then I might listen to something else.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom has gotten into audiobooks recently. Yeah. Yeah, she's going between 3 books, one of which is audio, which surprised me. You know, she's never been much of a reader, and when she told me she was reading 3 books, I was like, "Wow, I'm so proud of you." But it's because she finally found what genre and books she kind of likes, which is getting her to read more. Since she loves true crime TV, she's starting to read true crime books, and she's
Nice.
finding herself enjoying reading more because of that. She's reading my book, which is a fantasy, obviously, and then she's reading the big book of serial killers, and um, the audiobook she's reading is Sequel to You. Have you seen
Oh, okay.
the TV
I
show?
know of the show, yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's books too, and she's been reading those. So, how about
Nice.
you, Tabby? Are you reading anything?
Yeah, I'm been, excuse me, I've been reading a few books. Right now I'm trying to get through a book called Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree.
Mm,
It's been kind of making the rounds in fantasy circles, um, as like kind of just a popular thing to read now. And it's pretty good. Like it's very low key. It's basically about this I can't talk today.
it's okay.
Retired orc who builds a coffee shop, and it's like in this fantasy setting. There's like other fantasy races and all that stuff. Um, and she just makes this coffee shop, and there's like a little bit of conflict, but it's not like fighting and like life endangering things. It's more like, how am I gonna get my coffee shop going?
That's cute.
Yeah,
I've
it is
seen that
cute.
book before. I like it's on my TBR too, so
Yeah.
I definitely am familiar with it.
Mm-hmm. And so far, I've been liking it. I haven't gotten very far in. I'm hoping to finish by this weekend because I'm part of a book club that's reading it.
Mm-hmm.
So gonna try to get that finished so I can join the discussion and not get spoilers.
Nice.
Otherwise, there's a series I started called. Hang on a second. I think it's Fall of Radiance. Yeah, it's Fall of Radiance, and it's just like a fantasy book. I like it so far. It's nothing like super unique or special. It's pretty straightforward, but it's still like enjoyable. And I did start your book, Johara, the first Jasmine Perez book.
Whoa!
So working on that too. And yeah, I think I'll
I
just
didn't
kind
know you
of
were reading that.
yeah. I'll probably just take my time. I mean, I guess not take my time, but like be relaxed and get through all of those. Like I'm
Yeah.
trying not to be in any rush except for finishing Legends and Lattes by this weekend.
Well, I
Nice.
hope you enjoy my Jasmine book.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah, I don't know what I'll be working on today. I'm not really in the mood to work on my 2 main WIPs, so I'm thinking about working on one that I pushed back. Cause I found myself recently kind of been in the mood to work on one of those, so I'm thinking about
Nice.
doing that. But which one, I do not know yet. It'll be a surprise to me, like it will be to the rest of you.
Nice.
So, have you started your sci-fi book, your space opera? Have you started like reworking it?
I was starting to edit it and then I just was like I couldn't even get past chapter 1 because I was just like, I really just kind of wanted to take it from the top again, and then I got like sidetracked for a while, like working on a short story, and then like I talked to my editor the other day, and I was like, saying like, oh, I think I'm gonna rewrite like the first like 2 chapters, and he was like, it's probably a good idea. Like, not that he's like, oh, it sucks, but he just kind of like said like, I've always found like when I do a full rewrite like that, it ends up being a lot stronger. So I was like, okay, like, if he's saying like it's a good idea, I might as well try it, and then if I don't like the new version, I still have the old version. So yeah.
Nice.
But the story's been on my mind a lot, so I'm like, okay, it's time to like start working on it
You
again.
got this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good luck. That sounds really exciting.
Thanks.
Yeah, I remember back when I was working on my Jasmine story. You were working on that. That feels like forever ago now.
It has been a while. I've been working on this book for 2 years now. Like
You got
2020 I wrote the first draft, and then 2021 I did like the first round of edits on it, and I just work so slow. It's like my thing mostly. So yeah, it's like it hasn't been that long, but like it has at the same time. That's why
yeah,
I'm like, by
right.
the end of this year, I'm like, I need to get at least one more draft done.
It feels like I've known you for so long at this point when I don't think it's actually been that long.
No, 2020 was when we first started talking, so only 2 years.
Wow. It feels so much longer than that at that point.
I know, it does.
Unless you're a super writer like Johara, finishing
Yeah,
a
you
book
were
a year is no easy feat.
one of my,
Right.
Sorry, go ahead, Johara.
I was just saying, you were one of my first booktube friends. I think you were third because I met the two Tiffany's first, and then I met you. But I think you were my first writer friend, like online writer
Oh,
friend.
nice. You were my first booktube friend. So I
I'm honored.
distinctly remember that. Uh,
What were you saying, Tabby?
Oh, I just said, unless you're a super writer like Johara who can just pump manuscripts out, finishing a book a year is no easy feat.
I'm like always writing. I like to say that my writer brain doesn't have an off switch. So even when I'm not writing, I'm writing in my brain.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I write a lot. I have an obsession.
It works.
I'm trying to
feel
find
like-
more. Oh, sorry. What?
No, I was gonna say I feel like I need to start like setting aside time each day to work on writing, or like more frequently than just the writing sprints, because that's usually how I end up getting more work done. But I've kind of gotten away from that.
I mean, on the group chats, we could always do texting writing sprints.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, get some stuff done then.
So yeah, what were you gonna say though? I'm sorry for interrupting.
I was just gonna say I'm trying to find more of a balance between writing and reading because I love reading and I do want to get more reading done. I just find myself writing so much that I cut out all my reading time.
And I have the opposite problem right now, where I have way more reading time than I do writing time.
We need to help each other find a balance.
Yeah, we gotta like combine, and
Yes.
then we'll be.
You push me to read, I'll push you to write.
Yeah.
At 20, do you guys want to do the first sprint?
Sure. I
Sounds
got
good to me.
my new documents, nice, clean, fresh documents
Woohoo.
opened up. So
I still have no idea what's right. I'm going back. I'm going between 3 stories of which one I want to write.
Have you started any of them already?
The one, yes. There are some stories I have planned that I haven't started, but the ones I'm talking about right now, I have started, but I'm not that far into them. I think a couple of them I might be a little bit further into, but I've started them, but I pushed them aside to work on my main 2 WIPs. But right now, I don't want to work on them. I want to work on something else.
Because you could
So
always like try reading like the last few paragraphs of what you had written in each WIP and then see like, well, which one, are you like, oh,
true.
I know what I want to write next, for this scene. Like, which one is speaking to you? Maybe that could help you decide which one specifically to
True.
work on.
The 3 that I am considering, one is about skeletons, because
Mhm.
skeletons are criminally underrated. One is about the 4 elements, like 4 girls that control an element each, and then one about witches and covens.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just read a sci-fi recently where one of the alien species were skeletons, and I thought of you.
Aww.
I was
I don't
like,
know if
oh,
that's
I've
a
never seen
compliment,
that.
but I'm gonna take it as a compliment.
Yeah, I've never seen that before in a sci-fi, and I was like, oh, but like they're skeleton people pretty much. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I love
Shahara.
skeletons, and they're so criminally underrated.
I never see them in books, but I don't read too much fantasy, so
Yeah,
we'll
I
see.
hardly see them myself, and I read fantasy galore.
Yeah.
Okay, so how long do you guys want to go?
Tabby, how long do you think you could last for? Because I
I
know
think
you said you're tired.
right. I mean, I think I could do 30 minutes.
You could?
If you guys
Okay,
are down for that.
Sure, let's do it. I
that'll
didn't want to
be
say 30 and have you be like, oh no.
And don't worry, I'll be fine with. That's why I kind of was like, one is good, like 1 30-minute chunk is good,
yeah.
but after that, I might be a little too tired.
Yeah,
So that
understandable.
it's 7:21, so that'll be 51, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Math hurts my brain.
Me too.
Okay. Happy writing.
Happy
Happy
writing.
writing, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
How'd your sprints go?
Hello.
It went pretty good. I got like almost 2 paragraphs done, but I'm kind of like hitting a little bit of a snag.
Mm.
Um,
That sucks.
but I got some done.
Yeah.
That's better than nothing.
Yeah.
How about you, Tabby?
I got a few paragraphs, got a couple hundred words, so not too bad. I think my brain is a little bit like first of all, my brain's still trying to organize the details of what I want to happen.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I'm just got a little bit like brain fog today.
We've all been there.
I hear you. Like my problem is like I'm trying to like do like set in the scene, world building, and like initial like character development all in these paragraphs. So I'm
Yeah.
like that's what's tripping me up is like trying to balance all of that and like keep it engaging. Uh yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel that. How about you, Johar? How did your sprint go?
Alright, I didn't get that much done. I was kind of skimming my book at first since it's been a hot minute since I worked on it.
Did you decide what you're working on?
Yes, I decided on my skeleton book because we started
Nice.
talking about
Mm.
skeletons and then I got in the mood for it.
Nice.
Yeah, most of my books that I write is in third person because that is the POV I prefer, but I do have a couple that I are going to be in first person, and this is one of them.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
it's a little bit not what I'm used to because I am so used to writing third person, but I think I'm getting a handle on writing first person a little bit. So yeah, I skimmed the book at first so I can like kind of refresh what's going on because I had no idea where I left off. So I was kind of skimming it, and figuring out where I'm at, and I figured it out. And then I was able to just start writing and get a little bit done.
Nice. I'm glad you decided what to work on because
Yeah.
that's part of yeah.
If you have multiple things going on, might be kind of hard to
Yeah.
decide.
Yeah. This is an interesting story, not just because it's one of the few I plan on writing in first person, but because you know how sometimes like you'll be watching a movie and it'll start like at the end and it'll be like someone telling their story.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do here.
Nice.
So yeah, it's kind of interesting. The very first scene is of Anastasia like in the future in like the year 2040, um, talking to some people or skeletons technically, but I don't think you know that yet. Uh, and and she's explaining, and she's like it's just like an introduction, and then it goes to year 1913, I think. So you can see when she died and became a skeleton, and then throughout these, but it's kind of time jumps, so it can be a bit confusing. But I always make sure to put in the year so you know where we're at. Because
Yeah.
there's a couple things going on. Like the year 2040 only shows up every so often because that's not the main point. Is that's just her telling her story, but it jumps between the current year 2022 and the and then the year 1913. So you can see her when she first became a skeleton, how she started with growing a skeleton army and how she was doing when she first turned into a skeleton when she didn't know what to do. She didn't have a path or a destiny or anything. And then it'll show 2022, which is the current time, or technically past time since 2040 is technically this story's current time. And it'll show 2022 and it'll show her the battle against the villain. So it's kind of interesting. I'm taking a new turn on this story, something I've never done before, but I'm liking it. It's interesting.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I love skeletons, and I hardly ever see any stories about skeletons.
Same.
But it seems like we all got a little bit done during the sprint, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
I'm definitely like, yeah, like ready to keep going with this.
Yay!
Because like I came up with an idea I want to add later on in this chapter, but I'm trying to take it like scene by scene. But I was like, I mean, like, so one of the comments that like my editor gave me was that I didn't really put a lot of backstory for one of the main characters, and that's true. Like I honestly realized that while writing it. And so the first chapter takes place on this character's home planet, but this character isn't there at the time. Um, so I like thought of the idea of like, oh, why isn't she, back on her home planet? Why is, this other character going instead? And I'm like, well, like part of her backstory is that she was like a thief and like a troublemaker back in her youth. So I'm like, what if like there's like wanted posters like around like the city and like she really like can't without stirring up trouble. And so like this character like sees like, a wanted poster of like a younger version of this character and is like, yeah, so
That'll explain it.
yeah. Oh, I thought that was kind of fun just to give it a little bit more presence and
Nice. Yeah, what are you currently writing? Like, what's the scene you're trying to figure out, Tabby?
It's shortly before the climax of this book, and I'm having certain characters like come together to like this is the first time they'll be together, all of them together, and like be able to. Well, they've been together before, but this is the first time they've learned things, they've gotten experience, and now they can take that experience and start to learn more new things, so they can be like better as a team and like actually do something about the big bad they're trying to fight. Because before they're kind of like flailing around and all this stuff. So this particular scene is them meeting with somebody to like train them, and it's a little more complicated because there's backstories to different characters and how they regard everyone else, but that's the gist of it, and I'm trying to get them to the trainer first, and then because it's a bit complicated. I hate to be like vague, but I don't like it would be very, very spoilery.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, when I was explaining mine, it sounded confusing when I was trying to explain it. It's like, I understand it. Can I explain
yeah, exactly.
it though?
Right.
But yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm really excited to finally, read your series once I can actually buy the other books. It sounds good. And I can't wait to read Robin's too once she publishes hers.
It might be a couple of
Get
years.
on it.
But thank
Get
you.
on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I want to try it. And I believe it'll be good. I'm not 100% sure it's gonna be up my alley though.
Yeah.
I kind of feel about it like how you feel about my Jasmine Press series. It's like a little too fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. I'm like trying to figure out how to say that like this character that I'm following, that she doesn't trust people in uniforms without literally just saying she doesn't trust people in uniforms.
Could it be like a
have her
physical
see
reaction
someone
she
in a
has?
uniform.
That's
Yeah.
kind of what I had started. Like, okay, like when she hears voices from behind her, a pair of humans using the same alley as a shortcut, stark white uniforms redden from the sand drifts, Jane tenses, ready to fight or to flee. But I don't like. I'm trying not to like. I'm trying to like say it a little more artfully than what I have written. That like she's not doing anything wrong, but like it's just like that kind of like reaction that like she can't help like reacting defensively to seeing these people in uniforms just because that's how she is. So uh,
You'll figure it out.
yeah. That's literally the last thing I wrote and like I can't stop thinking about it. So
Maybe she can have some sort of anxiety attack. I don't know if her species has those, but
she's definitely not the type to have like outright panic attacks.
Could she still like have some kind of reaction, like her heart sort of speeds up, or her hands ball up and tense or something?
she sweats.
She's sweating because it's hot out. Because they're in the desert. Yeah,
Yeah, that's hot.
she's such like a very like stoic and like very like not a very reactionary person, if that makes sense. Like she just is like internalized like everything. So that's also why I'm like I can't like have her dramatically gasp or something like that,
Yeah.
But I guess like maybe like her heart quickens I could do. Like that is kind of like even if like you're like having an like adrenaline rush because you're about to fight someone, like your heart would still pick up. It doesn't necessarily mean like she's like anxious. She just is like time to fight. Like
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how my two main characters will meet. I mean, obviously one of them is a skeleton. And it's in first POV, but it goes between the two of them, like only the two of them. And Anastasia's she's the skeleton, and then Vivian is a human. And she like doesn't believe in all these mythical things and skeletons or any of them, but her best friend does and always drags her along with her to hunt them and try to find them and prove that they're real, prove that she's not insane. But of course it's Vivian that ends up meeting the skeletons and stuff and joining their crusade or whatever. Not the best friend that believes in it. But and they already had a scene where they kind of almost saw each other from a bit of a distance, but they haven't actually met yet, and I'm trying to figure out how they're going to meet, and how Vivian is, because Anastasia won't want her to be a part of this because this isn't her war, it's the skeleton war and stuff, but she's going to want to help, like maybe not right away because she's gonna like freak out and be like, I don't want any part of this, but then she's gonna come around and then want to help, and then Anastasia won't want her to help, so it'll kind of be like a switch, like Vivian doesn't want anything to do with it and then Anastasia doesn't want anything to do with her kind of thing. I just have to figure out how they're going to meet and when. I think they're going to meet pretty soon, but I just don't know how they're going to meet.
Is it like, are like both skeletons exist in the same world as humans, or is it like a magical other realm that the skeletons exist in? Like where do the skeletons live and why haven't humans discovered them? I guess is kind of my question about the world.
Well, I mean, there is kind of another world, sort of. I'm still trying to figure out what to call it, but it's not like another realm, like my Judge Press series. There's like a whole other realm. This is a bit different, and so it's like there is kind of a little place off to the corner for skeletons, but the evil skeletons, the villain and his army kind of has taken that place. So that forces Anastasia and her army to be in the human world, and they're hiding out there. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. So that kind of makes me think like maybe like Anastasia is like fleeing and uh like she runs into Vivian, I think is the human, right? I love that you called her Vivian because Vivian means lively, and it's funny that
I
she's
didn't even
alive.
notice that.
Yeah, you always like unintentionally pick really clever names for your
Yes,
characters.
I do. That's my talent. That's my secret talent.
Honestly, like that's so good. Um
That's funny.
but like so maybe like Anastasia is like fleeing and she's scared and she runs into this human who's Vivian and Vivian's like what's going on like I must be dreaming or something that like I'm seeing a skeleton but like Anastasia's like kind of begging her to help hide her. Maybe she's like being chased by some of the evil skeleton army or something. And it kind of forces them to be together in that moment and for Vivian to make like this quick decision like do I help this skeleton like what's going on like I'm sure like this is such a trip for her to be like
Definitely.
I'm like seeing the
Yeah.
skeleton. I think that could be really cool.
I actually really like that, and they'll be forced to maybe spend a chapter together trying to stay hidden,
Yeah.
and maybe she can even take the skeleton to her room and they can hide out because
Yeah.
the evil skeletons. I like that, and that might actually be able to happen really soon because the scene I'm at is Anastasia went to the place where skeletons go, their little world, and to try to friendly talk to the villain because she didn't want anyone else to die or re-die in skeletons' cases. But of course, that's not gonna go out well. He's going to end up attacking, and maybe she could get chased by his skeleton army, which will lead.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for that. I really
That's
like this idea.
perfect. That sounds so good.
Yeah, I'm excited to write it now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited for you too because that works out perfectly. So I was like, I just needed a little bit more of like where what the world looks like that you're writing in. But I'm like, okay, let me figure it out. Because I was like alternatively, maybe Vivian could get sucked into the skeleton realm, but no, I think the fleeing idea just kind
I
of
like that. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of forces them to be together and to
Yeah.
be involved too.
Yeah. The skeleton world. I mean, I'm kind of picturing something similar to the underworld, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, well, the villain is actually the Grim Reaper. That's a whole other story. Like the Grim
Mm-hmm.
Reaper's all evil in this sense. But there's I don't want to get too much into that because that will get a little too spoilery. But and he's also actually before he became the Grim Reaper, before he died, he's the one that murdered Anastasia, which makes things even more complicated on that end. I mean, she was a queen in France, and but this was like the early 1900s, late 1800s sort of thing. So, she was caught with a woman, which is why she got killed because it wasn't okay back then. So, they have a lot of issues because he's the one that orchestrated her death. Well, he killed her. He orchestrated the woman she loves death.
Oh.
Forced her to watch it.
Oh man, that's super messed up.
He's awesome. He's awful. He's a terrible villain. But so he's the Grim Reaper now, and so I'm kind of picturing like maybe the world where the Grim Reaper takes the dead before,
Like purgatory?
yeah, purgatory, something like that.
Yeah,
Like a
that's
little
cool.
world just for skeletons.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm picturing. Haven't come up with a name yet because I don't want to use purgatory. I'm trying to
You
come
could
up with a
call it
different name.
like the in-between or something.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
That
because
gives me
it's
upside down vibes. I like
yeah, I mean, I've been watching Stranger Things, so that's why it's on my mind.
Finally watching season 4.
I am, yeah. I have thoughts, but I'm like, I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't love everything, but it is entertaining at least. So
Well, thank you for your help. I've come up with some great ideas. I couldn't have done it without you.
yeah, I'm really
Robin's always
excited.
so helpful with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to work on that more.
I should go ahead and head out.
Yeah, no problem.
yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Tabby.
Yeah,
Wow.
glad I could come for a little bit, and I hope you guys have a great rest of sprint time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
I hope you have a wonderful night and get
Thanks.
much needed rest.
Thank you very much. Me too. All right, see y'all later.
Have a
See ya.
good night.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
It's just us.
I know. And then there was 2.
And then there was 2.
Unless Tiffany does show up, which yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this though.
I'm excited for you too. Now that we're talking about it, I'm like, okay, like this sounds like it's gonna be fun. So is this one a duology or a trilogy, or is it just a standalone?
This I don't do standalones.
I was gonna say, I'd be surprised if you say standalone.
No, this has hold on. I'm going to double check. I think I know, but I just want to make sure. I have like all my notes here. For all my planned books.
Nice.
I have
I
a
should
lot of
start
them.
doing that, yeah.
I have so many planned books. I can't keep up with all of them. Okay. The series is called Tales of the Grim Reaper. Book 1 is
That
called
sounds
Skeleton
familiar.
Bride.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the title of the first book.
1, 2, 3, 6. That's what I thought. Okay, 6 books.
Oh wow, nice.
And they all have skeleton in the title. Like there's Skeleton Bride, Skeleton Rebellion, Skeleton's Death, Skeleton's Fate, Skeleton's Grim Reaper, and Skeleton War.
Nice. I gotta say, like, I'm interested in the concept of skeleton death because I just like imagine that being like oblivion, like you don't even get an afterlife if you die as a skeleton, like, which sounds so horrifying.
That does. I like that.
Right? So, yeah, I'm really excited for you. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this series. I have a lot of ideas.
It sounds like it, yeah. Got a cool start too.
Yeah. With your help.
Is it just skeletons in this world, or are there going to be other magical beings as well?
They won't. I mean, I know Vivian's best friend thinks that all of them exist, like vampires, werewolves, mummies, zombies, that they all exist. But no, none of them is going to show up, and the jury's still out. Do they even exist in this world?
I'm like, that'd be kind of funny if like her friend is like wrong except for one thing. Like,
because like the main point is skeletons. There's
yeah.
this skeleton world going out, and the Grim Reaper, Mitchell is his name. His goal is to basically kill every human on Earth so that he can kind of turn the world into a skeleton graveyard.
It makes sense why he would want that if he, wants like more than just that little like space that they have, like if he wants to like conquer the world, obviously you're going to want to make everyone's skeletons. It's the easiest way.
And with him being the Grim Reaper, he can just choose not to take them to the afterlife.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's evil. Do you need help figuring out your character's backstory? Maybe we could try to help figure that out.
I do have the character whose backstory I didn't really put in is her name is Trick. And I did have like in mind that like, she's from this like old desert colony that is essentially the Las Vegas of space is my concept for it. So it's this like really densely like populated, very colorful, always energetic city, uh, full of tourism and just like full of people trying to rip you off. Like that is just the vibe of where she came from. And so I think she was probably orphaned at a very young age, because like she pretty much like grew up with a found family of people who are basically around her age, like as a kid. Like she was just in this gang and they just would like take care of each other pretty much. And so to kind of provide for themselves, like they would like steal food, and then like she kind of learned a lot about like machinery just by like taking things apart and like repairing things, and so she has like this very self-trained knowledge of machines. um and so I don't remember what age I decided that she left this planet, because she's an alien, so her lifespan's just a little bit shorter than humans. Um but so probably as like a young adult, whatever age that would be for her species, like she finally like bought this like really crappy spaceship, like fixed it up herself, and she left the planet and she never came back is pretty much her backstory. um so I never really uh fully put it in the story when I
Yeah,
wrote it.
it seems like you do know her backstory, you just haven't really put it in the story.
Yeah, and I guess a lot of it is because like everyone else's backstory. I have six main characters. A lot of their backstory like is more integrated in the main plot, and like whereas Trix really isn't. It's just kind of explains like why she is like who she is, and like why she has, her main talent being like an engineer. That's what she provides to the story, is being the engineer. um
Well, explaining
so
her story could explain why she's the engineer. So maybe it does
yeah.
have a little to do with the plot, just not as much as the others.
Yeah, and I want to use it too to kind of explain like her motivations too, because
Yeah.
she kind of has this habit of just like taking in people, like from like this chapter is told from the perspective of Jane, and like she kind of ended up rescuing Jane from like her situation, and then she ends up refurbishing a robot who becomes a main character, and like that's just like who she is as a character. She's just like this person that's like sees someone in need and she wants to help them. And so I think a lot of it comes from like coming from nothing, as well as like having this like band of like other lost souls who she
Yeah.
helped them out and they helped her out in return. That like that's just how she lives. That's her family.
Yeah.
She's very about like
Yeah. I think you just have to try to, while editing, figure out like where to put a little of her backstory here and there, so that
yeah.
you can get to know it. Just maybe don't spend a whole chapter or something explaining just explaining it here and there, like sprinkling it in.
That's what I'm trying to do, because I find that really hard to like not just like take a paragraph to like go
Me
off
too.
into a
Me too.
tangent. So that's like why I keep getting tripped up, because I'm like, okay, like I need to advance the story as well as incorporate like important details,
Yeah.
especially because I'm just like trying to set the scene right now. I'm like, okay, like
Definitely. Like I'm only on chapter 5 of my book, so I'm still trying to do some world building. Like I haven't really gone that much into the skeleton world of
Mhm.
yet. So I need to try to explain that more and get more into that because I haven't yet and I really need to. So my readers understand the skeleton world and they understand why Anastasia and her army is not in the skeleton world.
Right, yeah.
Because it's very dangerous for them to be out where humans are because
Mhm.
they can't get caught.
Right.
So I really need to explain that. I just need to figure out where, when, and where. Because right now, if I'm going to do the whole thing where she talks to Mitchell and then she gets chased and meets Vivian, right now probably isn't the best time because too much is going on. And meeting
Mhm.
Vivian is very, very important for this overall story.
Maybe while she's talking to Mitchell, maybe, like, Mitchell can, like, be the one to say, like, like, "You're not allowed here anymore,"
Yeah,
like, for X, Y, and Z reasons, like,
yeah. And maybe he can like motion around the place and I can kind of explain like describe it while he's motioning around as well. Like
Right.
be like, this place is not for you anymore, or something like that. I don't know. I'll
Yeah.
figure it out, but yeah, that'll work.
To
So
at
I
least,
can,
like, begin to explain
yeah.
some of it.
I mean, I probably won't explain all of it right now because there is too much going on, and the main point right now is getting her to meet Vivian.
Right. Yeah. Cool.
Awesome, thanks. You're really helping
You're,
me
like,
with the
being
story.
really productive today.
Yeah. I love just talking with other writers. Like it can help a lot with figure out your story to get another pair of ears and stuff, and to just you know.
Absolutely. I entirely agree.
I remember there's been times where I would explain what's my problem is with you and Tabby, and then I would figure out just by saying it out loud. Maybe I should just start
Yeah.
talking to myself when I have a problem, and then I'll
I
figure it out.
I genuinely do that sometimes, like, especially, like, for some reason, when I'm in the shower, like, that's what I will do is, like, I will, like, explain whatever problem I'm having in the
Yeah.
story, and, like, I'll come up with the solution that way? So
I
that's
mean,
why I
sometimes,
usually try to be like, "Oh, like, you're having a problem? Like, what's going on? Like, explain
yeah.
it to me, because chances are, like, the person will probably figure it out, or if not, like, I can offer advice.
Or you could
Yeah.
bounce off ideas from each other, which is also very helpful.
That
I think
too.
yeah, sometimes it does help to have other people hear your problems because they have this um their what's the wording, like fresh pair of ears, fresh pair of
Yeah.
eyes, all that. And then also saying it out loud is also very helpful because like once saying it out loud, it just makes things easier to understand and comprehend.
I think it helps you think about it a different way
Yeah,
to try to, like, explain it to someone else?
yeah.
And then it becomes more obvious, like, sometimes, "Oh, well, like, this specifically is my problem, so, like, this is the solution," you know what I mean? Like, when you can finally, like, put it to words.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question for you.
Sure.
It's a kind of a writing question. So have you ever like had? I'm sure you have, but like, have you ever had to cut out a scene that you really, really enjoyed, but just did not go with the story anymore?
Oh, man. I know, like, this was a previous project that I've just, like, indefinitely put on hold, but I wrote this really funny scene, and, like, because it was so funny, like, I kind of had to cut it for that reason, but it was, like, this other project I was working on, it was about vampires, and so the main character, like, was just changed into a vampire against his will, and so his, like, best friend, who's still a human, confronts him and is like, like, "Dude, like, what's going on? Like, you're acting crazy. Like, what's up?" And it was just so fun to write, like, these 2 best friends because they kind of were just like, kind of like how, like, me and Gideon will pick on each other because, like, we're brother and sister, but like
Yeah.
not really. Like that's the kind of vibe I was able to capture with this scene. And so it was just so fun to have these two characters like picking on each other while having this conversation. And but it just like tonally didn't fit with the book at all. I'm like, this is a really like serious scene. Like I can't do that. So I had to take it out. But that one, like if I ever work on that book again, like I have to take it from the beginning because it's just like it's like Swiss cheese. It has so many plot holes in it. Like it's such a mess. Um but for this book, I think I only took out one chapter from my rough draft to my second draft, and it was just because it didn't offer anything. Um and so I wasn't too sad about like cutting that out because it definitely was a filler chapter. And then there was another chapter I just like completely rewrote, and that was a good thing to do because I like it way better now. Um, but I did have to sacrifice a small like plot point of that previous chapter, where I kind of had like this like romance plot that I introduced between a character and like a random alien he met, and then I was gonna bring it back later in the book, but I cut it completely from the book because it didn't have uh it really just like didn't have any presence in the story. And I kind of like realized like this is kind of pushing it. Like I think eventually this character would be ready to have a relationship, but I feel like it would be rushing it if I made him have that relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like he really would have to take it slower than the book allowed. So I was just like, I'm gonna cut this entirely. How about you?
I think there's only one scene that I really was kind of upset with cutting, but I kind of had to, which would actually be from The Chris's Light.
Oh, really? Okay, I
Yeah.
just read that.
Yeah. Cause the first draft of that is so different than what it is now. Like, I think the only things that are still the same in the book would be Skylar, Will, and Logan's dynamic and their characters.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and Alfie and Sydney's relationship, and the
Oh,
fact
okay.
that their dad was the villain.
Yeah.
That as well. But yeah, the first draft I practically rewrote it. I mean, I actually wrote the first draft of that before I started working on Jasmine. But then after I finally finished Jasmine, I decided to rework on this and try to revive it and rework on it, and I ended up changing it a lot. I changed the curse and what the curse, like the curse details and stuff, and I added some characters and stuff. So yeah, it's a lot different than what it was. But I know you saw they've had a very, very tiny role. Lydia and Steven.
I remember them 'cause yeah, I just read it, yeah.
Yeah, they had a very tiny role. Well, their role, they were never main characters, but their role was bigger. And
Really?
in the first draft, yes, but then I was like, these characters really serve no purpose, and because I cut out their characters, I had to cut out the scene that had to do with the characters.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a scene where they were, I think it was near the end, 'cause it was when they were getting ready to, you know, fight James and stuff for the first time, and with Lydia being the daughter of the mayor, which I think I mentioned.
Yes.
Her dad wants her to keep her safe, so she owns a gun. So they did this whole. So there's this whole thing where Will had to distract Lydia and Steven while Skylar snuck into Lydia's house to steal her gun.
Oh, okay.
To where Will already just had a gun, because I was like, I really
Yeah.
don't need that extra scene. I could just have Will be a gun owner. That just
Yeah.
that makes it so much simpler, especially since I cut pretty much all of Lydia and Steven's story anyways.
I think that was a good move, and especially like because I read this version of the story, I felt like it would have just like kind of like
Unnecessary.
been a detour, yeah, for them
Yeah.
to have to get the gun, whereas he just had it. So that was probably a good move, yeah.
Thanks. That makes me feel better for cutting it out.
Right.
Like, I didn't really care much for Lydia and Steven's characters anyways, and they didn't feel fit much of a purpose to the story anyways. I just needed them to kind of introduce Skylar so
Yeah.
that you can understand that Skylar's supposed to be the crazy girl, because I needed someone other than Logan to say it, obviously.
Right,
So
yeah.
that's the only reason why I kept their characters at all. But I liked the whole Will distracting them while Skylar had to try to sneak in and steal the gun. Like, that was a fun scene to write, but in the end, just unnecessary.
Yeah, I feel for you.
But we've all been there. We all had to cut out scenes we liked.
Absolutely.
Is there a scene you had to add in on the last minute?
I know I've mentioned it before, but like it's just like my favorite part of this book that when I was doing the second draft of this book and I'm like, doing like minor rewrites, but then like it just like occurred to me like, oh, like this moment I need to put in a platonic I love you between these two characters who are like old friends. They've been friends for like 15 years and they're about to part ways. And with the implication that the one friend is about to die, to like sacrifice herself for the other. And I was like, oh man, like I have to put in, this bit of dialogue where, she tells her friend that she loves her. And like, I was just like, yes, like I'm such a sucker for, platonic love,
Yes,
and
same.
it just was perfect, that like, oh,
Yeah, I
I
think I
already
remember you
had
mentioned it
them
before.
like saying goodbye to each other,
Yeah,
that like, oh, like of course, like in this moment she would think like I love you, because
yeah,
like, so I was just like, yes.
yes. I love a good platonic I love you.
Yeah.
Uh, Alyssa and I say I love you to each other all the time, and it's obviously 100% platonic.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so there for affectionate friendships, like,
Same.
so it made me feel so good to be able to write one
That's good.
because you don't get to see them very often. So
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for the book I told you about. That's gonna be mostly about the friendship. Like, there's not gonna be any love
yeah.
interest, because I'm sure I'm gonna have a platonic I love you in there somewhere.
Yeah, and like, not to tell you what to do, but like it should be like that really dramatic, like climactic moment too
Yeah.
for you as well. Especially because what I know about that series is like, it is like this strong platonic friendship
Yeah.
is like the main device of the story. So yeah, that would work amazing.
Yeah. That'll be fun to write, definitely. I'm probably gonna have the same amazing feelings you had when you wrote yours.
Yes.
For me, I'd say it'd be in the second Jasmine Perez book.
Mhm.
When I first wrote it, I was like, I had this little scene where Lucas poisoned Ben.
Mhm.
They were off because a few of them were off fighting Lucas while Jasmine and Jax and were fighting Lilac. So the group were split up to fight the two villains, and Ben got poisoned, which is never fun. But then I got so into Jasmine's fights with Lilac and the fact that she used a lot of power, so she was kind of drained and passed out for a couple days, sort of thing, that
Yeah.
I finished writing. And then when I went back, I was like, wait a minute, I never did resolve the fact that he was poisoned.
Oh
So
no, he's dead. He's dead now.
but no, I love Ben. Like, I can't kill him off.
He
So,
died.
yeah, he died. But so I had to put in them resolving solving the poison before the book ended, because I was like, no, because by the time the book 3 will come, he would be dead. The poison would have gotten him.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to solve the poison problem.
You could start book 3 like, and Ben died. It's the first sentence.
Well, I mean, that's not too far off from how I started the book, but it was all this dream Jasmine had.
Mhm.
Of like I started the book off with Jasmine finding everybody dead.
Oh, I think I read that actually. I think you
Oh,
shared
really?
that. Yeah, because I remember it being a dream sequence. I remember people being dead in it, so
When
I think you
Alyssa read
shared
that
it.
book, she freaked out. She was like, that was cruel.
That's yeah. Oh man.
But
But
yeah, I
yeah.
had to resolve that little poison problem, or he would have been dead. And no one wants Ben to die.
No. Well, it's good that you realized that when you're editing that you had that inconsistency.
Yeah,
Or at least like, that plot wasn't wrapped up.
yeah, that needed to be done. Like, we couldn't go into book 3 with with Ben dead or Ben still poisoned.
Right.
I totally forgot about the poison. I did. And then, because I got so into Jasmine's story with Lilac, how the book ended with the two of them and Jasmine being drained and Lilac finding Lucas's body because he ended up dying. And I got so into all that I totally forgot that Ben was poisoned.
It's a lot to keep track of, so I totally get how something even like major like that just completely gets under the rug. I feel like when I finally
Especially when
got to
there is a
the
lot going on.
like main battle
Sorry, what?
scene. I shouldn't say
Yeah.
battle scene, but the main like action scene of my end, and I
Yeah.
had to like keep track of like who had what injuries because I'm like, okay,
Exactly.
like, this character, has burns on his legs, so like that's gonna affect like he's not gonna be able to run as well. And or like, like with one like character got like her arm hurt, so I'm like, okay, like if she's gonna use a weapon she can only use it one-handed, like I had to like keep track of that. And
Yeah.
especially because it lasted like 10 chapters too, like from chapter to chapter. I'm like,
That's
okay,
how.
like
Yeah.
who's got what injury.
Yeah, that's how my final battle for my Jasmine Prez book was. It lasted several chapters.
Yeah.
In the last book. But yeah, it can be hard to keep track, especially if you do have like maybe not a big, but like a decent sized cast of characters.
Hmm.
Then I mean, if you have like very few characters, then that might be easier. But my Jasmine Press series, there's a decent amount of characters, and I was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
okay, who got hurt where? And so yeah, I feel like I did Ben dirty. Like, I forgot he was poisoned.
I think your cast is probably a little bit bigger than mine, so I can definitely see how that happened. I find it helpful to kind of ask myself, like, like, what's this character doing? Even if, like, I don't have to write about it, just to, like, kind of constantly keep track of, like, all my children, pretty much. Like, so it kind
Yeah.
of helps you remember to think, like, okay, so, I'm focusing on these characters specifically, but, what's this character doing? Just to, make sure I'm not forgetting something super important, that that child isn't reaching for the electric socket with a fork. I just read
Yeah.
your mom's comments. I mean, you should have the ins and outs of it because you're the mom. Like, why is
Yeah.
she holding out
So,
on you?
yeah. Sometimes I'll purposely not tell her what's going to happen because it's
Yeah.
funny to see her face. To
Oh
see
my gosh.
her. I want her to be surprised. Like, I want her to not see the plot twist coming, you know?
Is it a good surprise?
But it can be hard to keep track of.
Yeah.
You keep freezing.
I'm sorry. It's probably my internet being a little touchy. Did you want to do another sprint? Oh no, I think I froze.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Surprises are evil.
My mom just barged in here.
I heard her say surprises are evil.
Photobomb.
Hi.
They are. She should just tell me everything. I will never let her forget about Kate's dad.
Oh my god.
Oh,
That
I
was very
know.
upsetting.
It upset her. She was such a minor character. It upset her because it came out of nowhere, and it was such a.
Oh,
And I visualized it. I could visualize being Jasmine watching that knife just go through her. And I went, oh my God. I just started screaming.
so pretty much your daughter just tortures you, is what I get from
Yes.
this.
Very
You're not
much.
supposed to take her side. All
She's
three
kind
of
of mean to you and Alyssa, it seems like.
She's very mean to us. She really is. I mean, she should just go ahead and tell me everything in it so I'm not upset, you know?
Right.
Someone
But where's the
dies.
fun in that?
I heard you guys talking about the dream sequence. That upset me
Mhm.
too. Because I kept asking her about that. Is it for real? Is it for real?
Yeah.
And she wouldn't tell me a thing.
You have to read to find out.
That's what she keeps saying.
As an author, I feel that, you know. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna say. Gotta read to
Okay,
find
I don't
out.
like authors.
Yeah.
I don't like authors anymore. Now that I'm reading more, I'm very upset about what's going on.
She knows
Right.
that I like to kill off at least one character per series.
Yeah.
At least I like epic ones that have epic battles because it doesn't make sense for every character to come out unscathed. And so she's like wary about the Witch of Light.
I was gonna say, like, you know, now that I think about it, I don't think anyone died in the first book, so I'm like, who's gonna
Not
die in
yet.
the second book then?
Well, we talked about it, you know. 'cause
I remember
talked
us
about-
talking about it, but I
talked
don't
about which
remember what you
character-
decided on.
I don't know if I actually told you which character I decided on, but I
I
told
don't
you
think you did.
I was trying to choose between two characters.
I'm scared because I think I remember who two characters you were talking about, and I don't want either of them to die.
Well, read it. Hurry up and read it. My book is like 764 pages, so
Oh, that one's longer. Oh man,
I'm almost on page 200.
that's a decent amount in though. Yeah.
yeah. So stop complaining. This is why I'm friends with authors. She understands me.
I don't like authors.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
So funny.
I think I was just outed.
Yeah.
You want to start the sprint at 50
Sure, sounds good.
for 30 minutes?
Yeah, let's do another 31. Ooh. Yeah, I remember us talking about you, like, what you were gonna decide for the second book, but I don't think you told me what happened, so I'm gonna have
Yeah,
to
I don't think I
find
told
out.
you which one I decided either. So I'm not
Yeah.
gonna tell you. I'm gonna let you be surprised.
Oh no, I'm scared. Like I have a slight prediction, but I don't want to be wrong, so we'll see.
I mean, remember Nancy from my writers Discord?
Yes.
When she was reading my Jasmine series, and when she was reading the third book, we were talking, and I asked her who her favorite character was, and
Oh no.
she was like, I don't want to say because I'm afraid she's gonna die.
Yeah. I feel
But her favorite character did not die, so
okay, good. I thought you were gonna say she did die, and I was like, oops. Guess you lost a fan.
That's one character that survived. But there was, in the final battle, there were, I think, 3 deaths. Well, out of the main cast of good people.
Yeah.
So Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3. But that was just in the final battle. There were other deaths throughout the series.
Oh my god.
That series has more deaths than any book I've ever written, and I don't think I'm going to top it. I mean, there were here, including good people and bad people. There are 7 deaths in 4 books.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, in my prequel, you know that they're gonna die. Like, it's
Yeah.
mentioned in the 3rd book, the 2 deaths. I mean, it's mentioned that they die in the 3rd book when you're learning more about Lilac and Rosemary. So
Mhm.
you know that they're going to die. I knew they were going to die. Like, the entire point was their death because that's what put Lilac over the edge to become the villain she becomes.
Mhm.
But what I did not expect was to fall in love with them so much, and then it broke my heart to kill them, even though I knew they were gonna die before I even started writing the story.
Oh.
It
Oh
was heartbreaking.
no. Yeah.
I mean, I was upset too. When I wrote the Death in the Witch of Light,
Mhm.
but yeah, and yeah. So you get more into in the Witch of Light. You get a little bit more into Andrea as well because she's the main
Yeah.
character in the sequel series.
I felt a little cheated because she wasn't as in the first book,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Oh, I want to know more about her." But I know you said like that she gets her own series, and then I think you said that she's more in the second book. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
she is.
okay,
You
so
get a
we'll
lot
see
more
more
of her in
from
the
her.
second book.
Yeah, yeah, because she kind of was just in there mostly at the end, so I was like,
Yeah.
oh.
Well, she does have a point. That's why I didn't cut out her character, which I'm happy for because I
Yeah.
love her character. Like, she does end up having a bigger point in the second book.
Nice.
Just needed to be introduced in the first book
Mhm.
so that you know her character.
So does the sequel series, does it take place in the same town that the
No.
Curses Light does? Okay.
Which you'll understand when you read the end of the book. Like,
Okay.
you'll understand what happens. I don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's been fun.
Nice.
Killing off characters. I saw this post once. It was like a reader obviously wrote it, but it was like, I wonder if authors feel remorse for the characters they kill off, or if they laugh and have a cup of tea with Satan.
I'm pretty sure you are the last one.
I am offended.
You enjoy it just a little too much.
I plead the fifth.
Oh man, these science fiction I want to write after I finish editing this one. I have 2 deaths planned, and I don't usually write deaths if I don't have to. So I'm like excited to be writing something different for me, and part of the reason why too is like the other book I'm planning on writing, it's gonna take place like over at least a decade. So like there's gonna be a lot of changes in these characters' lives. So that's why I'm like, okay, like there's gonna be some death. It's about, life.
Yeah.
So death is part of life.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, so I'm kind of interested to see how, I can kind of also make readers fall in love with the characters that are gonna die because they need to also feel along with the characters who are experiencing the loss, the loss of these deaths. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to figure out.
In the Curses Lights, I have a redemption arc, which
Mhm.
which was my first time ever doing that, and I think it went pretty well. You probably obviously know who the redemption arc is.
I do, and I think
Because I
like
think I
you
told you
set
about
her
it.
up very well to
Oh,
have
thank
a
you.
redemption, definitely like reading it like I wanted to see her have a redemption arc. So
Thank you.
yeah.
I hope it pays off in the end. I feel like it does, but we'll see.
Better.
Okay, so it is 51. So what is that? 21?
21 after, yeah.
Hey, happy writing.
All right, happy writing.
Hey.
Hello. Do we have someone else here with us? Is this Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay! I'm glad you could join us.
Yeah, I'm happy I was able to join you guys too. I was like, I don't know, is it too late? I wasn't sure.
No, you were just in time.
Awesome. So, how have you guys done so far?
We've done 2 sprints so far. I've gotten well, actually more done this time than I did last time. Which
Yes. I got
is
more done
pretty
too.
good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking for a while, trying to help each other figure out little things in our books that we needed help with. And
That's
I think we
great.
both got somewhere good, so.
Cool.
Absolutely. And I'm still not at the scene where I can write this part, but like I came up with another idea regarding Trick's backstory that like I'm like thinking like maybe like she was like a teenager and like she got caught by like the authority and they were kind of like, okay, like, I'll let you go this time, but like, I can't save you in the future, and that's
Yeah.
part of the reason why she's like, okay, like I gotta go skip town, you know.
That would make
So,
sense.
yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of working that into the story, but I did get quite a bit done. I got a couple paragraphs.
That's good. Yeah, I got a couple paragraphs done too. The skeletons are chasing Anastasia. She has not yet bumped into Vivian, but that's gonna be happening real soon.
Nice.
Yeah. Since she's running now, I'm gonna cut to Vivian to get her to get to where, so you can see how she gets to where she ends up bumping into Anastasia.
Mhm.
Which and I was able to kind of explain the skeleton world and how it coincides with the human world. I haven't actually really described what the skeleton world looks like that much yet.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that more when you're actually more into the skeleton world than you are right now. So yeah, but I did come up with the entrance to the skeleton world being through a mausoleum in a cemetery.
Nice.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I like that. But I kind of explained it a little bit to explain like exactly what the skeleton world is and how it coincides with the human world at some point, So I got that explained, and now she's being chased by the evil army of skeletons, and so she's about to bump into Vivian. So the story started to take off because, like, the first major milestone in the story is Anastasia and Vivian meeting. So
Nice.
yay!
Awesome.
Exciting.
So I joined this sprint like, it wasn't that many minutes, so I didn't have that much time, but I did get 4 pages farther into the book. It was started another chapter, so seeing what happens, but so far so good. I don't have too many updates about that book. But I did I know, Johar, you saw on my Goodreads that I was updating, but yesterday I started a book and I finished the book the same day, and that was my goal.
Yay.
My plan was to do that. So I read The Upside of Falling, and that was a cute, young adult contemporary romance read, and yeah, it was just really good. And I just want to say, like, now, am I going to say this book is like the greatest thing I've ever seen? No, but it was still like a solid story. And like I've said, the Spanish Love's Deception was like here and then it just dropped. And I'd say like The Upside of Falling, it was just a solid, there's no big surprises. Like, I'd say what's surprising to me is like how good and solid the story was. Like, the characters were fully fleshed out, at least in my opinion. I thought the writing was actually was pretty good too. Just all around, I enjoyed it. So I'd say if I do decide to do that mid-year freakout tag video, that will probably be my favorite book so far. So
Nice.
I'm very happy about that. And like I said, on Saturday I was gonna go see Jurassic Worlds. That's what I saw, and I'm not gonna say the movie is the greatest thing that has ever existed, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed it definitely better than my parents did, but it was cool. I got to go to the Dolby Cinema theater one for the first time, and it was pretty nice. So I was pretty pleased with that. Very awesome visuals, sound just like boom. There's that bass.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think enjoyment is more important sometimes than it being like the best thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you
Yeah.
just want to just enjoy something, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong
And
with it.
yeah, and I'm especially happy that I did enjoy the movie. My expectations were low because I did see a lot of bad reviews, people talking bad about it. So I was like, uh-oh. But I definitely, obviously there were a lot of dumb choices, but it was fun. And I was, going into the movie like, hey, let's just enjoy a movie about dinosaurs.
Mhm.
So, I tried my best there. And yeah, it's just been a bummer going to the theater. So many months I've been going to the theater, and almost every time I'm disappointed. So I'm pleased, like with this one, it was way more like I still had fun. So that's good.
Yeah, I've never seen any of the Jurassic Park movies.
None? That's
No.
crazy. I can't believe that.
William said he's reading the complete Sherlock Holmes Barnes & Noble edition. Nice.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. It's one of many because I have a slight obsession. I'm Team Hufflepuff though. I mean, 2 of my Harry Potter shirts are Hufflepuff. Plus, I have a Hufflepuff sign outside my bedroom door that my mom got me recently, just a couple months ago. And it's just this long board thing that just hangs there, and it says Hufflepuff all the way down with the Hufflepuff colors and a badger. So it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. Tiffany and I will be buddy reading Percy Jackson starting next month, which is
Yeah.
exciting. Harry Potter, I mean, how many times have I read that? But I'm currently reading that series again. I'm on Deathly Hallows. I just started my reread of Deathly Hallows today. I'm on chapter 4, the 7 Potters. So that's
It's a fun
exciting.
chapter, yeah.
It's also a bit of a sad chapter, but
It is. It ends very sad, but I remember just really liking that chapter.
Yeah, there are other sad scenes in other books, but this book is just sad galore. This is only for 4th chapter, and it's very sad, and then the ending is sad. Yeah, it's happy. It's kind of bittersweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been buddy reading Harry Potter, and it's been a lot of fun because it has been a minute since I read it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so many Harry Potter related videos planned. I just have to get it ready, do the plan it out more. But I have them the concepts ready. I have a few top 10 videos I want to do, and some where I compare the books and movies. I have a video where I talk about the things I actually liked better in the movies. Because there are some things I like better in the movies. I also have one where I talk about the things I like better in the books, because obviously the books for the most part are better. But I feel like the movies did some things right.
Mm-hmm.
So, can't wait to get into some of those videos. I feel like they'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll probably, since I've been rereading all the books, I'm thinking about just watching all the movies too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and what's nice about that Summer Splash readathon is one of the prompts is read a childhood favorite, and I'm just trying to decide because I read Harry Potter and The Hunger Games in the same year, so it's kind of I could choose one or the other. So I'm kind of considering, should I do Harry Potter? Should I do The Hunger Games? I'm just trying to consider, because technically I could do both, because one is like I said, that prompt, I could do The Hunger Games for that. And the other prompt is read someone else's favorite book. And didn't you say, Johara, one of your favorites is Harry Potter? So I could start the reread there. So I'm just trying to consider like what prompt I'm gonna go with.
Yeah. That will be a hard one for me because I think I will be doing it now that I have the prompts. Thanks for that.
Mhm.
But a childhood favorite, like I'm trying to think I can't think of many books that are really childhood favorites. Like I think most books I read as a child, I don't really remember them for the most part. There's Harry Potter, obviously. There's Seekers, but I just reread both of them, so I'm not gonna be rereading them next month. And then
Yeah.
there's Most High Ghoul Friends, but I'm planning I'm buddy reading that with Robin in October.
Hmm.
So can't do that one either. So it's like,
Yeah.
I have to go through all my books and be like, are any of these childhood favorites?
Yeah, I just remembered one that would work childhood favorite wise. Like I could do Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
I never
that's a
liked
good one.
those. But yeah, that'll be a hard one.
Mm-hmm. Robin, are you at all interested in trying that readathon next month?
Yeah, I don't think I have any other readathons going, so I might look into it. Especially because
Yeah.
you said the childhood favorite, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've
Yeah.
been meaning to reread some of a few different books I really liked when I was younger.
Yeah, I just
Actually,
wanted
Animorphs would count.
totally. I just wanted to ask you because I was able to make a document with all the prompts and I sent it to Johar. I just wanted to know if
Nice.
you wanted that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you.
All three of us could do it. We could
Yeah.
Yeah,
do
exactly.
reading vlogs trying to get our TBR done. That'll be fun.
I was so upset
I
in the
actually
movie
prefer
theater.
the movie version because it's smarter. I mean, Harry, he wanted. I mean, if the Elder Wand is still there, if it's still, then people will be able to get a hold of it. I mean, he puts it back in Dumbledore's tomb, right? That's where Voldemort got it in the first place. If Voldemort could get it, anyone else could get it. Plus, I mean, Harry becomes an Auror. That's a dangerous profession, and even if you just disarm him, they will become the new master, and he fights evil wizards. So any evil wizards that just disarms him will become the new master of the Elder Wand. Like breaking it is so much smarter. Plus, he won't have a bunch of evil wizards going after him just for the possession of the Elder Wand. So I feel like it's just so much smarter to break it, and I actually way prefer that.
I hated it so much. Nope. Also, one thing I hate about the seventh the movie Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is there was a whole point about how Voldemort died. After all the Horcruxes were taken care of, he collapses. But it says he died like a man because he is a man. He is human. He is not. And then instead in the movie they're like, duh.
They did that for the visual effects.
It was
that
so
really
bad.
annoyed me.
Ugh.
Yeah, I prefer the book way of that too, because like that the whole point of him dying like that was to show that despite all this time him trying to be something more, in the end he was just a man, and that's so symbolic. And so yeah, I agree with that one. Like the book one was better, 100%. I actually for the way that Nagini dies in the movie, because I mean she dies basically the same way, just at a different time. And in the book they have Neville step up and say Dumbledore's army, and then kill Nagini. And right before Harry wakes up, and he's revealed to be alive. And I really preferred it in the movie because, first of all, I loved Neville's speech, which I think his speech wasn't in the book, which I'm going to have to reread it to find out. But I love his speech. It's one of my favorite parts. But, and then Neville doesn't cut Nagini's head off until right before Harry defeats Voldemort, and then he doesn't just save Harry from Voldemort, he saves Ron and Hermione as well, and it's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We got into a little Harry Potter conversation.
Thanks for sending me the prompts, by the way, Tiffany.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
welcome.
opened it.
But yeah,
I'm
I can't.
excited by some of the non-book related ones. Just 'cause
That's
they
what I'm
sound fun.
saying. It just looks so fun, right? And that's what I'm kind of excited about, because obviously, like, I'm trying to get into books more, but I
Mhm.
like that it is more like, especially the one, I think it's the Get Lost one, where it's like, go somewhere in town you've never been before.
Mhm.
I am such a homebody, and I'm
Same.
still trying to get used to Florida and stuff, so that would be a good thing for me. Maybe even just to drive around. It's not like I have to, actually go in somewhere, but going around, visiting other places. I definitely want to try that. And I really like that write a letter to a friend.
I love that one.
Actually today, I know it's not like the prompt, because obviously the prompts are going to be in July, but I've decided to do a letter to a friend today. So that was nice,
Yeah.
like a little productive thing for me, and just for
Yeah.
funsies.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. The one I'm a little wary about is read an entire book outside, just because it's been so hot here. And
Yeah.
I'm like, and it's Illinois. If it's hot here, then it's hot in a lot of places.
Yeah, it's 90. It was 93 here. I went for a walk for like 23 minutes. Man, it was awful. And there's barely any shade, right? Like, there's plenty of trees, but because of how the sun's going, that didn't help me at all. And every single time I was so scared, I'm like, oh, is that a red spot? Am I getting sunburned? I was fine, but it was like concerning.
But there's also that easy read where it's read a book that's under 200 pages. So maybe I can find a book like that and read that entirely outside, because that will be
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's nice is yeah, I'm just trying to consider what I'm gonna do. One thing is my dad recommends is, because I'm thinking about like maybe doing an audiobook and like going for walks, and that'll be how I read it. My dad
Yeah.
was definitely recommending, because earlier in the morning, say like 7, 8 o'clock, it's way more chill temperature wise. So I'm like, I might consider doing that. And also, it's good to get outside, early in the day, start the day nice. But I definitely want to achieve that prompt, because I think it's been forever since like I actually really read, outside. So it's like, yeah, I could do that. I'm just such like, this is my space. This is all basically always where I am. So it's like, yeah,
same.
and I do want this, for this summer, I really want to try and enjoy it, and like,
Yeah.
get that summer spirit going.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nightblade Epic. I haven't heard of that one before.
Bye. So, Robin, have you done your big move yet?
I haven't.
No?
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
didn't get the place that I was going to move to, so now I'm looking for another place, and it just hasn't worked out yet. But
Where are you
I'm still
moving to
hoping. I was going to move to the desert in California. It's kind of the general area I'm looking at. So
Well, recently I've been thinking about moving to Salem, Massachusetts.
that would be cool.
Yeah,
I
it's
did
very-
really like my time there, so I
It's a
think we
very
will
witchy
like it.
place, and it gets even colder than here in Illinois. And I'm all about the cold.
Yeah.
And it seems like it has a nice pride community from what I've seen.
It does, yeah.
So it seems like the perfect place for me. So I'm seriously considering moving there, but
Nice.
I need to find someone to move there with me.
Yeah. I'm trying to move alone and it's a pain in the butt, but like all my friends are in relationships. They're not gonna like move across the country with me, So
I mean, if you move to Salem, I'll go.
I'm trying to get away from seasons. I really want the desert for now.
No, I can't do that.
I'm like, you would definitely not like the desert, I don't think.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Like, I complain about the heat here in Illinois. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, my sister and aunt lives in Florida, and then my best friend lives in Texas, and it's like hotter over there with them than me. So I feel like I belong more in Salem. Plus all the witchiness, like they have the Sanderson House, the hill where there's like witch museums, and there's the witchy things pretty much everywhere, and it's just. Plus the Pride community, like I really wanted to go to my first Pride, even because I never actually been to a Pride event, and I really wanted to go to one. So I was looking for Pride parades or Pride events near me, and there's none like right near me. They're like hours away. There are some in Illinois, just not very many, and they're further away. And I'm like, man, I can't drive all that way just for a few-hour Pride event.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yes, Once Upon a Time, such a good show.
Yes, it is. I haven't seen that in a while. I'm thinking about rewatching it.
Yeah, it's been a hot second since I watched it. I think it was like when it was still airing. I think that was the last time, because I did finish. I was watching, I think it was season 6 when it was still, coming out. And I didn't watch season 7. I didn't want to watch that, like continued thing that didn't even have the main storyline or characters. I was like, but yeah, I remember I really liked that show.
Yeah. I remember when in season 3 when you find out about Rumpel's dad, who he is.
Wasn't it the Peter Pan?
Yes. My mom and and sister were all watching it together when it first came on air, and when that happened, we 3 screamed so much, and then my mom's boyfriend at the time ran in. He was like, what happened? And we were like, Peter Pan is Rumpelstiltskin's father. It was so cute. My mom and I have been talking about going to Salem on Halloween for years. We haven't yet because that takes a lot of money. But now I want to move there. So
I've been to both Gettysburg and Salem.
Never been to Gettysburg.
I recommend both. To be fair, like both places are a lot closer to me than they are to either of you guys. So like for me, it's not an expensive trip.
I mean, if you still live there whenever I live, whenever I move to Salem, I could always just drop by and be like, hey!
Yeah. I mean, I would probably come out and visit you because I did really enjoy visiting Salem, especially during Halloween. There's like a month-long festival pretty much in Salem, which I didn't know about. I went there and I didn't realize it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a month-long festival. I just knew that they have a Halloween party at the hill where they hung the witches.
But yeah, I wish I knew about it because I didn't bring a costume, and so many people were in costumes, and I was like, oh, I wish I knew. But yeah, it's a really cool area, so I think you would enjoy it.
I think I will too. And yeah, when I was telling my mom some of the things I found out about Salem, like we knew about the Halloween party and all that, obviously, but I told her how it's pretty much all witchy all the time. Like there's witch things everywhere. Like I never actually seen the movie Bewitched, but my mom has, and they have a statue of the main girl on that movie. And
I've seen it, yeah.
Then I found out about the Pride community, and I was like, my mom even said that sounds like the perfect place for you, and it really is.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time should add more literary characters and have Sherlock Holmes in storybook to fight Moriarty with the storybook heroes. That's what I call.
Is it still going? Once Upon a Time?
No, it ended.
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought it ended. That's a cool idea, though.
Well, I remember there was that. I know it's not the same. It's not Sherlock Holmes, but I do remember that one on Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah,
they have that one.
Oh,
that's
an
interesting.
Cool.
I feel like
they in the story.
Yeah, it was interesting at first, but I feel like they just cut it out too soon. Like they should have had expanded it more.
I just don't remember enough about some of that, like one-off situations like that. Like the characters are there for like a while, but I do remember enjoying the show. I'm sure there were points sometimes where I was like, enough already.
Yeah, my
Well,
mom and
I remember when this was season 5, and like it was like Emma was, she wasn't the Dark Swan anymore because she had to stab Hook and everything, and so he went to the underworld, and so they went to the underworld to get him back. I hated that so much, and that was exactly because I'd been able to watch the whole show, like just the way you can watch a show. But this time it was like when it was live, when the show was actually coming out. So I was stuck. Like I hated like every single episode. I hated Hades. Like I did not like it at all, and I was so mad that like I felt, it was such a waste of time. I was so disappointed. Yeah, I don't know if I could watch the show again now. Like I don't know if it would be like this is all new, or if it would feel like I watched the same old,
Yeah, I still enjoy the show. I mean, yeah, there were things I didn't like throughout, but I feel like there isn't a storyline I actually hated. I just feel like some of these storylines could have been fleshed out more. Which is something my mom and I talk about. But I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so my very it's like a very very unpopular once upon a time opinion. I hate Hook, and I hate Emma with Hook. Emma should have been with Neil because Neil is superior.
I still don't like his betrayal with the whole thing where she had to go to jail. I know it had to be done, but I still don't like it. I did not like that
I
at all.
kill her when they first met. So how's that any different?
Oh my gosh. Fair enough though. No, but that was like after all the relationship that they had, and he did that. I know the point, but it was still like seriously. No.
Yeah,
but
I get that, but I at the same time I kind of get it because I mean, when Neil found out who Emma truly was, it scared him because he was terrified of his father
his dad
finding him
coming
again.
back. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but I hate Hook. Like I hate him, and I don't even know why.
How dare you?
And I always feel like Emma was stronger when she was with Neil. I feel like she became this stereotypical weaker version.
I don't see that at all. No. But I want to say, I had, because these were like wall stickers, so they didn't last long enough. But I used to have one. It was Emma as the Dark Swan, and then it was one. It was that episode where she was like, she said Princess Leia was like when they had to go to the past, they were from the future and everything. And it was like when they were dancing, and so I had that wall sticker of them. But yeah, I mean, this was like the biggest show for me when I was like 14, 15 years old. It was like the best.
Love Neil. He is one of my favorite characters, and his death was such a cheap shot. I will swear this until the day I die, I swear the only reason why they killed him off was because they knew Emma never would have chosen Hook over Neil, and they wanted her to be with Hook. I will swear till the day I die that is the only reason why they killed him off.
But I do feel bad for Henry, that he didn't get his dad because he did die. It's like, I didn't really like his character. But again, I don't remember enough, but I think I definitely disliked him.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, do the whole thing with the wizard and the author of the storybook and stuff? Yeah. I watch a little bit of both, depending.
Yeah, you can't see it, but I actually have an Avengers poster, and then I have a Shazam poster right next to it. So it's like I got a DC Marvel combo.
How about you, Robin?
Barely of either.
I'd say I'm not so much into Marvel anymore. I just feel like they've lasted too long and they're still going, and I feel like they had their stride, and I'm just kind of done. Like, obviously I saw Spider-Man No Way Home. I wasn't not going to see that one, but I watched Doctor Strange, and unfortunately that was a disappointment there. And I'm like, DC is definitely like, I just happened to like Shazam and I wanted to watch it, so I watched that, but I'm not like up to date on any of the DC movies really.
For Marvel, I was never big into superheroes when I was younger, and I'm still not like a big superhero fan, but I like some of them. I started with the Guardians of the Galaxy because I was watching them when I was with my aunt, and she was a fan, and I fell in love with them. And so I watched Infinity War and Endgame because they were on there. But my friend had to fill me in on some things because I didn't know anything about any of the other Avengers. I eventually watched a few of the Avenger movies, not all of them, because I didn't care about some of their storylines. Just the main ones where they all get together. But and then for DC, I don't watch the older ones, but I watch the Arrowverse. Arrow,
the TV shows then?
Yeah, I watched Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Flash. Those are the only four I watch. I finally caught up on Legends. Arrow, I'm caught up with. Those both are off the air. Supergirl is off the air now too. I am a season behind though, and Flash is about to be off the air, and I am 2 seasons behind. So trying to catch up. But they all started going downhill as well. I mean, these later seasons just weren't as good.
Yeah. No, I haven't. But I did watch the trailer for it. It certainly looks interesting, but I don't know enough about it to like. I haven't heard anyone talk about it, so I'm just not sure if it's like worth watching. Like, it does look kind of cool, but I'm not sure if I'll like.
Yeah, who cares if other people like it? Just give it a try.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I like the Flash. It's not my favorite out of the 4. Actually, I think it's my least favorite out of the 4. I do like it. I just don't like it as much as the others. My favorite is Legends of Tomorrow. Because I'm just completely I think going through all those different timelines was very interesting and intriguing, and I'm very biased to Sarah Lance and Ray Palmer. They are my favorite Arrowverse characters. So yeah. It's getting late. It's like almost 10 here.
Oh yeah, I'm probably gonna scoot at 11. I got a little bit more writing done while you guys were talking once upon a time.
And here I am, just like, I barely started.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Tiffany.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not feeling that great all of a sudden.
Oh no.
I got like really hot all of a sudden. I am feeling kind of dizzy and my stomach started hurting, so I'm about ready to clock out at 10.
Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah, well, I would say Sunday was killer. You know how long we were up? That was crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll say Monday was awful. Wait, was it Monday? Yes, it was. Monday was awful. Because remember how productive I said I was being on Sunday? I was like so proud of myself. I did the downtime. I was so proud of myself how good I was doing. No, Monday sucked. And so that's why it was nice that I started that book. I was able to finish it. But yeah, like I was just so tired, so grumpy. I was just not having a good day. So, I'm pleased so far with today was pretty good. Like I said, I got to see that movie, or at least it was more like a nothing day, but not in like a bad way.
Yeah. I mean, we all deserve that, day off and stuff. I mean, Legends was my favorite Arrowverse show, and it still is, but the last season pretty much sucked except for a couple episodes that I really enjoyed. The 100th episode because they kind of did this whole blast in the past where they brought back old characters that either died or stuff in memories. They show like old memories, and they brought back old characters, and I loved that episode because of that. Characters that we haven't seen in forever and that I miss so much.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it pretty much sucks, and I am not okay with that ending. That ending destroyed me. They left it off at a cliffhanger, and they're not picking it up for a season. Like, no, I can't handle a cliffhanger if there's no next season.
Mm.
So
Yeah, that can be really disappointing.
that was insane.
Well, I'm still mad about this show that used to be on ABC Family. It was called No Ordinary Family. This family got these superpowers, and like they killed the main bad guy at the very end of the finale. It was the season 1 finale, and then it was like other people got superpowers, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we need to know what happens next, and they canceled it. I was like,
Oh, wow.
seriously. Yeah, I'm still salty about it, but I do want to do a rewatch because it was a good show.
There's this one show, it's a comedy, and it's an old show. It actually has the very first gay character to portray on a TV show. And it was made in the 70s, and it was funny the first couple of seasons. The last 2 seasons sucked, but the last season ended off with this intense cliffhanger where 3 characters were like about to die in 3 different scenarios. Like they were all in different areas in different situations, and they were all 3 about to die. Like, and then they didn't get picked up for a 5th season. It had gone way downhill by then anyways, but I was curious, so I continued watching, and man, that cliffhanger was something else.
I've never heard of it.
Neither have I. Just all these shows ending with cliffhangers. Like, that's not okay.
I hate that, and I hate especially the fact that you could the writers could say something about what they picture would be the end of the show or something, but they don't. They just leave you in the dark, and you just have to deal with your frustration on your own. I hate that.
You have to try
so
to
much.
fill in the blank pieces yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's what fan fiction's for, though. I mean, if it's one thing if you think you're gonna get picked up for another season, but with Legends, it looked like they knew they weren't gonna get picked up, and they still ended it that way. I'm like, no, that was rude.
Yeah, that's a shame. Mm-hmm.
So are you guys gonna do any more writing or reading tonight?
I'm still gonna read probably, but I don't think I'm gonna do much more writing left because it's 11 for me, so it's getting quite late for me.
I'm gonna go to an early sleep because I feel like crap.
Yeah, sorry if you're not feeling well.
Thanks. Just I'll continue writing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I want to get some more of this story done because I got really into it, and if I wasn't feeling well, I definitely would be doing more writing. Because I'm at the pivotal point where the 2 main characters meet, and I have to start feeling like crap now. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
I've never read a Sherlock Holmes book. I did like the movie, what's it called? Enola Holmes, where it stars Millie Bobby Brown.
I like that one, yeah.
That movie was good. And I don't know, it looks like there might be a sequel, but I haven't heard anything from it. Is there going to be a sequel?
I think I vaguely heard about a sequel, but I'm not sure.
Well, I hope so, because I enjoyed that. And I want more. Well, it's 10 o'clock.
Yeah. I think I'm okay with calling it a night.
So are we going to do reading sprints this weekend?
I'm good to do it.
Yeah?
I don't think I can do Saturday. Could we do Sunday again?
I could do that too.
Okay,
And I
sorry.
think we should
fine.
try to do that more consistently. And like, there's this short thing I have to do. Like, it's an obligation to do in the morning, or at least the late morning, early afternoon. And it's like, even though it's so short every single time. I mean, yeah, it's only like a few hours before the reading sprints start, but every single time I'm like, this is too soon. I'm not ready for it. And Sunday was really nice. But yeah, well, it's funny. I'm like, I just saw you guys. And it's like, why is that? It feels like it just happened. It's like, hello, it was Sunday. It's already
Yeah, it just
Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah, we should try to make like a weekly reading sprint.
yeah.
I'd like that.
And
Yeah.
I think Sunday would be easier for me to do just because Saturday is like the day my friends have off usually.
Yeah,
So
I'm
if I'm
definitely
gonna
down
do
with that.
something, we
Yeah,
usually
I'm
do
down with that
Saturday.
too.
Yeah.
So
I'm just curious for you guys, if we plan on planning on doing that on the Sunday, would we want to regularly making earlier, or do you guys, like having it be 6 p.m. East?
Central.
No, yes, Central, then 7 p.m. Eastern. You know what I'm saying.
nighttime works well
Better
for
for you?
me right now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
That's
I'm fine
fine.
with
I
that.
was just wondering. Yeah, no problem.
And I mean, we can still go pretty late. We did last time after Robin clocked out. We still did a couple sprints.
Yeah.
We ended up
And that's
being
what I'm
late.
saying. I'm saying I just got murdered. I just got killed, man. I was so tired. I was just like, I cannot live. I'm done. But I at least I guess Monday's a recovering time. But yeah, but I just want to say I am so pleased with how it's been, because apparently I got the top 10% of streamers on StreamYard, like of how much I've been streaming because of our live shows.
That is
So
amazing.
I know, it's crazy. It was like 20 hours for this past like month, because it was the 12th, and it was gonna
Yeah.
cycle back on the 13th. Now it's cycled properly, because if I went any longer, it'd be like, hey, that stream's good, but then the next stream it would be like, you can't stream. You stream too much for the
Oh
free version.
no.
No, but it was good though, and I'm just really pleased with how much watch hours I've been getting. My watch
Yeah.
has been up, and I'm very happy. Like, I'm nowhere near monetization, but I'm happy that at least the live shows are helping my channel.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like they can help. I know when I first met you and the other Tiffany and Robin, and I started doing these live shows, my watch hours and my subscribers started going up, and that's when I actually started making a dent in that. My 2 YouTube channels have actually been getting more subscribers last several days. Like, I mean, I feels like I just hit 200 and I'm already at 210. And
That's
then
great.
Nice.
yeah, and then just the other day I was at like 54 subscribers, and now I'm at 58 on my other channel. I was like, wow, that went up fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe YouTube's doing better at trying to promote you. Who knows?
yeah.
That's
really
good.
cool.
Yeah.
And
I was bummed. I was so excited because my channel was stuck at 131 subscribers for a while, and it's kind of like gone steadily up, but it keeps on hitting 135 and going down. And it's kind of like,
Mm.
it's kind of shifting there, because I was so excited. It's like someone new had just subscribed to me, and I'm like, 135 subscribers, yay! And then I was like, 134. I'm like, lost them.
it felt like it took me forever to get to 200. And then
Yeah.
shortly after I got to 202, and then when I checked again, I was at 200. I was like, crap, I swear, if that goes down and I lose that 200, I'm
Oh.
bad. But luckily I didn't, and now I'm at 210. So
Yeah.
hopefully I don't go lower than 200, because that took me forever. I'll be so bad if I get lower than 200 again.
Yeah, but one thing I really want to plan on, maybe for the week, maybe for just in general, my goal is I really want to get more into like participating in tag videos, and like just doing, just making plans for it, because I do want to be more consistent with booktube and everything. And like I said to you guys, my May wrap up, I have it drafted, written. I just have to film it. It's just, I mean, the past few days I've just been feeling kind of sucky, at least motivated wise, where it's like, hey, I'm doing things on my phone, I'm doing things on my computer, but I just can't. Filming wise, you know how sometimes you just kind of
Yeah.
feel yucky or just nah.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping, sometime, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. But I hope I can feel good enough to be like, yes, I want to film right now. Because I do want to get that video up, because my plan had been to be consistent and it hasn't really happened. So I want to get back on that.
Yeah. Yeah, I just filmed earlier today. I'm hoping but with the next couple of days I can upload it. My reacting to unpopular Harry Potter opinions. But like I was telling Robin, it's lengthy. It's like 50 minutes because I got a bit ranty. But it was fun to film, and so I'm gonna upload that. I'm waiting a little bit longer before I film my Monster High unpopular opinions, because I need like quite a few more unpopular opinions.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting a little bit longer to do that one, but I hope to do it soon.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Like, I don't know if either of you know, but with the mid-year freakout tag, is there like an actual day that people like commonly do it, or is it just sometime in June they kind of do it?
I've
I've seen
seen
it
it.
in July.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've
July?
seen it like both months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Because I'm just thinking, June 15th would kind of be like the halfway through the year, but I guess it depends on what
Okay, I'm
people
not
think.
getting that done on time then.
No, I was just wondering, because I'm like, technically that is the half, but yeah, I guess that makes sense. And if I do wait to July, maybe I'll have more books to actually talk about,
Yeah,
because right now it's like so small. But I'm very pleased. Obviously, February was my first and only book, and then May I read 3 books, and already this month I've read 3 books, and I plan on finishing a year to the day. And what's very exciting is the Love Hypothesis. I was wondering when my hold was going to be available at the library. It is available, but I obviously want to read my arc before I go get the book. But I want to do like a big fun thing with that. Like, I've seen some people, like, they do a vlog and they kind of like, have their camera, as they go to the library, pick up the book and stuff like that. I just want to do something fun, because I am looking forward to this book now that I hear more about it. So I'm like, yeah, so I want to do something fun. But then there's another part of me like, oh, privacy, be careful you don't show something that someone could know your location. It's like, chill.
Yeah, just don't like show like the sign to your library, you know? I
Right,
mean, like you can
right,
show the
exactly.
interior, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Even then, like when I did my video of the independent bookstore I visited, I'm like, oh no, like there's an address on this. Like, are people gonna like dox me now? Even though like
Yeah,
it's
scary
like
stuff.
not super close to me, but you know.
Yeah, I saw this creepy thing on Twitter. It was this dude. It was just a video of this lady driving. It was just, I'm sure it was like she was vlogging it, driving with her dog and stuff. And he was able to pinpoint, he was able to see the stuff around the car, the surroundings by the car. He was able to see some sort of license plate, track it. Look, it was like some really creepy stuff, and he was able to find the exact place where she'd driven past. I was like, that is so creepy. I can't believe
do that.
Oh, that is just so awful. The fact that people actually exist like that could do that is like, no, we don't need you people like that. Stop.
Yeah, just that's a no-no. I hope we get more of Helena Bonham Carter. I like her acting, and we barely got to see her in the first movie because she was like missing, and that was the whole point of the movie. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have a lot on my physical TBR that, like I explained on Sunday, I'm trying to get through, and my original goal at the end of this year, which is not gonna happen at this point, was to finish all my books on my physical TBR. But now I changed my goal to finish everything except for Warriors, because that is what's hogging up my physical TBR. that series. So I'm going to focus on that series next year and just finish everything else.
Yeah, I would just say with, speaking of physical TBR, I was disappointed because I did want to accomplish a book yesterday of my physical TBR, and I thought one of my books was small enough that it would work, but I wanted something like less than 300 pages, and unfortunately none of my books are less than 300 pages except for this one book that's like a sequel of a sequel of a sequel, which obviously doesn't work. But I'm still pleased. I did get my digital TBR, the book that was on my Kindle, so I can say that I read that, and like I said, I had a great time, and I'm very pleased with that, and I'm also proud of myself that I was able to successfully read a full book in a day. I was just like,
Nice.
yes.
Very nice. Well, I'm ready to go to bed. I don't know about
I'm
you.
sure you are. You're just like,
Yeah.
okay, can we cut it out?
Well, thanks for hosting for us, Johar. I
course.
had a really productive night, and I'm excited to work more on my book. So
Me too.
good feeling.
Especially since I kind of figured out what path I'm going on, and once I feel better, I'm very excited for the scene I'm on. So can't wait to do that tomorrow. It'll
Yeah.
be your turn to host next week's writing sprint, Robin.
Thank you. Yeah, remind me if I forget again. All right.
And yeah, and do you want to host one of these, Tiffany?
For the writing sprints, yeah, sure. I mean, it will still be reading for me, but
That's okay.
We're fine. Yeah.
yeah, that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe you can host after Tabby, and then we can have this order going on, because we don't want to get all messed up again, which has happened in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
like
you can host
put one of those tallies or something.
Yes. So it'll be me, Robin, Tabby, you. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, and then who's hosting the reading sprint? Me, right?
Oh.
That's what we discussed.
I think that's right. It's just I just want to be like, please let me host. I'm just all about that. It's just fun to host, but I understand, want to help your guys' watch time too. I'm a little selfish. I'm just like, let it be mine. No, it's nice, but I know in general it's good to just have reading sprints. It's just part of me is just like, I like that watch time.
Yeah.
No, but I know, eventually it'll be my turn again. And like I said, I do want to do more videos and try to get my watch time up like that too. But I hope, I mean, it's been okay with that video, that super long video. It's got 19 views. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's just okay. But I'm hoping next time maybe I can get some good views, because I already got 40 views on my Believe Me review and 30 views on my It's Not Summer Without You reading blog, which I'm really pleased with. I mean, they're still doing good, and I was like, hey. So, all right, great.
All right. Well,
Good
have
night.
a good night, everyone.
Bye.
See you Sunday.